Hello friends, thanks for being here today. This is going to be a Sephora haul and try on. I'm just going to be putting on some of the new things that I've gotten recently. I'm trying to be a little more selective of the new things that I try, especially Sephora type stuff. I feel like in the past there would be this sense of like, oh, this is being talked about, you must just get it, you must get that. And I felt like my motivation behind getting certain things was just because other people seemed to find them noteworthy or they just got a lot of hype. And if I step back, my genuine personal curiosity maybe wasn't even that high for a given product, but I just went for it by default. And I just want to feel like drawn to the things that I purchase, because it is a purchase. So the things I have aren't enough to make up an entire full face. I'll fill in the blanks here and there. But I thought you just might be interested to see some of these different things that I'm going to be playing with. Before I go any further, one thing that you're not going to see me use up here today, but I'm going to keep it downstairs and use it before bed. From The Ordinary, I got the multi-peptide lash and brow serum. I wanted to give that a shot. I had used Grande Lash in the past. Wasn't sure for a period of time whether it was irritating me. In hindsight, I think it was something else that had actually irritated my lash line, but this is much more affordable, and I was just curious to see if it would really work. So that's going to go into my nighttime skincare routine. To start out on my face this morning, I don't have a new primer, but I used this one yesterday and I had amazing staying power, so I kind of want to use it again. This is my mini of the Power Grip plus 4% niacinamide primer from e.l.f. So it is one of those sticky ones, but I'm kind of thinking, even though it's not exactly pleasant to go across the skin with it, it pulls and drags and it feels sticky, but you gotta give her credit because she works. I went to an SIU game. My voice even feels a little hoarse this morning just because I was yelling so much. It was like ideal college basketball environment, packed house, tight game. Unfortunately, they did not come out on top, but they've been amazing this year, and it was just one of those games where either team could have made it, It was just neck and neck, back and forth the entire game. But did I get enough on my forehead? Sometimes when I squirt out the amount I think I'm going to need, it's still not enough for the forehead. Never enough. By the way, Greatest Showman. What was I doing not watching that movie? It's so good. We saw it for the first time like a couple weekends ago. And yeah, now we're all obsessed. Okay, here's a new thing. Here's what I ended up getting, the Haus Labs foundation. This is the Triclone Skin Tech foundation. It's medium coverage and it has fermented arnica in it. And I've just heard a lot of hype about this, but I kind of waited to see, I don't know, what I felt like doing. And sometimes also, if I feel like I've got a lot of a given product at a certain time, if I've got a handful of other foundations or I just feel like I'm maxed out on foundations, maybe I'll wait to purchase the hot new thing. But I feel like I waited on this a little bit. Medium coverage, weightless, clean foundation. Helps reduce redness and protects from environmental stress. So yesterday this wore really well and I used a brush. Today I want to try using a sponge. The packaging is so big. What is it with big packaging? Tell me your thoughts. When something comes out and I think about the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, I feel like they made it big on purpose. People like something that feels substantial, and this frosted glass packaging, not only does it feel big, but it feels weighty, and it has a very deluxe vibe to it. But this will be my first Haus Labs on Sephora product. Remember, Haus Labs was first an Amazon thing? But I'm doing close to a full pump and just patching it around. And then I'm going to try the sponge today just to see how that affects things. This is a beauty blender. I feel like the shade is a hint dark, but I think, with the addition of any sunless tanning that I do, it'll probably end up being just fine for spring and summer. But yeah, I can just tell it's a little dark. But the finish on the skin is super pretty. Anybody else noticing kind of a luminous glow? Really important to get it well blended. I mean, any day of the week, but also when your shade is not super on point. We don't want any jump off. When I'm testing a new foundation, I immediately try to think what I would compare it to. I feel like it's a little more glowy than the L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum, but kind of a similar weight on the skin. They're both lightweight products, but it's not overly watery. It feels a lot like just a traditional liquid foundation consistency that you might be used to. So anyway, got that all blended in. It worked great yesterday. I feel like maybe it's looking a little more natural and worked into the skin after the sponge application as opposed to the brush the other day, but it wore just fine for me yesterday. Don't have a new concealer, so I'm gonna find something. Okay, I'm gonna start out, I'm gonna use my Becca. This is the, well, Becca in Smashbox Under Eye Brightening Corrector. Kind of getting back into this. And when you wake up with visible sheet creases on your face, that might be a sign you could use some corrector that day. There we go. It is President's Day today. The kids do not have school. They do have some extra practices though for cheer. See, just getting that a little bit blended with my e.l.f. Duo Complexion brush. We don't need a lot of this product. It is very creamy. It has a nice rich feel, and I think that allows it to be layered with other concealers and not look too dry and heavy. But I just kind of hit the outer corner and primarily this inner corner. And then I'm gonna layer up this Born This Way Ethereal Light. This is a semi-new concealer. I wear the shade Oatmeal. It's the Illuminating Smoothing Concealer from Too Faced. I like this one. So I'm gonna get a little bit right down in here. We're not talking buckfoot applicator with this one, so not as much comes off on the skin all at once, which is okay. I'm going to take that small end of the Duo brush and we're spreading, okay? We're not really blending it in, but we're just moving it around to take up a larger surface area instead of just what came off the doe foot. Somehow, I feel like this is a good strategy. And then you can take your beauty blender and go from there. I just feel like sometimes the little dots, when you go straight over them with a sponge, they kind of get eaten up and they just don't do as much work for you as they would if they were spread out just a bit more. Need to hit that little nose crease just a little more. How we doing? We good with that? I feel brightened. I feel even more awake suddenly. I was having so much fun up here the other day. It was Saturday evening and the kids were playing over at my mom and dad's and I just, had some time. I had just gotten a bunch of stuff put away and organized and I thought, let's twist up the look a little bit. Let's just add just for fun. It was exactly what I was talking about at the end of another video, how, whether or not you feel like you're in a rut, if you just want to have some fun, do some makeup at a time when it really doesn't matter what the outcome is. And I just went big. I got out my ColourPop Smoke and Roses palette, which just has a ton of options and a lot of different finishes. It was just fun, and I found myself doing this huge eye, and I played with the, the finishes on the skin, the highlights, the blushes, and it was just a blast. So I would say look for those moments because it really is fun. Next up, this was probably what had been in my cart the longest, waiting to get purchased. Kosas Cloud Set. Oh, but you already have that, Em. Yes, I have it in Breezy, and I now purchased it in Airy. And I feel like Boise Beauty did this exact same thing in the past because she was the reason why I got this to start. And this is the most wonderful, sneaky, lightweight powder. It's great for setting. It's great for touching up, being at the end of the look and being like a finishing powder. Like I said, touching up later in the day. And Breezy is so perfect. Like, I have no complaints. I've used a lot of this. I really love the powder, but I was curious about the very lightest shade, which is called Airy. And you can see the shade difference. It is definitely a little bit brighter and lighter. And I thought, what's that gonna do for my under eye? I'd probably use this exclusively for like under eye and T-zone stuff. I decided to go for it. Like I said, it's been waiting around a long time for me to gather up a few other things. But here we are using Airy to set the under eye. And it is brighter. I touched up with it too on the under eye yesterday, and I could tell a difference between what the look started with and then after I put this on. And it's just lightweight, sneaky. It's a fabulous texture. This was an Emily Award-winning product, the Kosas Cloud Set, but getting it in this lighter color, it wasn't totally necessary. I didn't need to do this. Breezy was working just fine, but I'm kind of glad I experimented because I can definitely tell an even more brightened up difference. I mean, very fair skin would want to start with this one anyway, but my skin's kind of, teetering. It's light. As I said, Breezy was fine, but now I got Airy. Now, all I need, Kosas, is it'd be cool if they just changed the color of the outer packaging just slightly so I can more quickly tell the difference. And guys, another powder I got, and this is kind of a bummer. I might need to exchange or something. the Soft Matte Advanced Perfecting Powder from NARS. Now, I love every part of the Soft Matte range that NARS has put out. That foundation is flawless. Like, if you want a full coverage matte longwear foundation, it's amazing. The Soft Matte Concealer in the little pot, love that too. So I thought, oh, they got a Soft Matte Powder. I should probably try that. Look at the thinnest little packaging you've ever seen. I mean, that was probably made with like makeup artists in mind, don't you think? I got the shade Cliff. It's way too light. I mean, that's every bit as light as Airy was, only this powder has a lot of coverage in it. That wouldn't be okay all over my skin. So yeah, to be continued there. I'll have to come up with the right shade. Next up, guys, from Tower 28, they have a new cream contour and cream bronzer. The cream contour is called Sculptino, and I got the shade Hammer, and the bronzers are called Bronzino, which I think is really fun. Exact same size as their lip and cheek creams. I've loved those. So I wanted to see how these were, and as far as the feel, they feel like the exact same texture and consistency. There's kind of a dewy moisture. It's not over the top because once that gets worked into the skin, you're not feeling all that tack, but they're creamy and they're easy to work with. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and apply this. I'm going to go straight in with my Sephora 56 brush and just begin working this in around my hairline. The blend is super easy. Like I said, there's some moisture in this, and I do feel like you can maybe see it a little bit. Just a little bit of glow that this leaves on the skin, more so than some other cream contour products, like maybe more so than the Mario stick, let's say. But I'm just working circular motions. You could swipe this on the skin first and then blend it out, but it looks really natural, and I think it shears out a little easier than some other things. It still has plenty of color. See how you like it here on the cheekbone area? Easy peasy. Not pressing hard, I'm just like working over it. How does this compare to the Refi cream bronzer in tan? I feel like this can be sheared to an even greater extent. Like, I think it's just a little lighter product than that, but yet it's still feeling plenty intense. I really don't have any complaints about this, you guys. It goes on easily. It maybe just leaves a little bit more of a dewy finish on the skin than the Refi, the Makeup by Mario, Wet n Wild Wears Walnut, the M Cosmetics So Soft sticks. If you've tried a blush like this, it's that very same texture that's just really like super creamy. See how you can almost see a gloss coming off that product? And like I said, it shears out to the point where it's not like sticky feeling, but it still has that kind of moisturizing quality, you know? For blush, this was sent to me in PR, both this and the eye palette from the new NARS. This is the Orgasm Foreplay Blush Quad, and I'm going to use this as my blush and my highlight today. This is what it looks like. You're getting the classic and very popular Orgasm blush, and then let's see, 2 other takes on it, and then this is Swinger, the highlight here. So all the varieties of a very iconic, popular blush. I'm going to go to this one that's looking a little more like rosy, colorful, and pick up some of that with my e.l.f. brush. And you might have noticed me tapping onto that a few more times than I might usually. The texture NARS seems to put in these palettes is quite firm. It's not unpigmented, but there's a firmness there that is just different from your classic pressed powder blush. But look at that pretty rosiness. Really like that. And they have a couple of cream sticks, the multiple sticks that came out in this little collection too. So lots of options. I'm going to be experimenting. I'm going to layer on some of this lighter one here. The classic. I can't help but think of Luminoso from Milani when I use that one. Everything in this palette, by the way, does have a little bit of a luminous finish. You should know that. But I think it's all working for this look. Then I'm going to use the highlighter in here with my Real Techniques setting brush. Just pop it right there, okay. skin looks super fresh to me. I really can't think of too many ways I would go differently with this. I mean, it could obviously look good with a number of different blushes, but like just kind of focusing on the way the coverage looks and everything, I really am pleased with it. I had somebody ask me on Instagram recently, they were looking for some good foundations for TV, for broadcasting, and I said, to be honest with you, some of the cheaper ones are my favorites right now. Like I told her about Wet n Wild Photo Focus and the L'Oreal True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. And thinking about those, you know, it makes you look at this and say, well, is that really worth it? And I guess I would have to say this doesn't feel like a total need, given the high quality and the loves I have in terms of drugstore foundations right now. Like there's so much good stuff beyond just the couple I just mentioned. Is it fun to try new things? Absolutely. Is it fun to pass that information along to you? I think it's useful, but if you didn't get a chance to try it or you're not planning to put down the money on this foundation, should you sit there feeling like you totally missed out? I don't think you have to feel that way at all. We're going to jump into brows now. Nothing new here. I'm just using L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in, what shade is it? Dark Brunette. I'm just going to pop a little bit of this in. And there is a new foundation from Revlon also that I'm going to be experimenting with. But we're just loaded right now with great drugstore options. I mean, in the light coverage end, we've got Wet n Wild like Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. That's amazing. Get into the Wet n Wild Bare Focus, both finishes, you know, for medium coverage. Those are great. The L'Oreal that I always mention. Getting into fuller stuff, we have the CoverGirl Red Cap, Maybelline Superstay. I could have 5 different people tell me 5 different desires they have for their foundation, and I could give them something from the drugstore that I felt equally great about, you know, for each recommendation. And the thing is, it's not like they're just pretty products immediately put on the skin. You're like, oh, I can make that look good. But so many of them wear so well too. So it's really hard to argue with that nice low-cost price point. And then we got brands like Relove by Revolution coming into Walmart, bringing that Super Serum foundation, which really is quite good, and under $5. And by the way, that brand does do some lipsticks. I was looking on, this is what I don't like about my L'Oreal now. The spoolie doesn't want to stay in. When I was originally shopping for stuff on Walmart's website, the lipsticks weren't coming up. But taking a closer look in store, they do have some actual lipsticks in that line. I'm going to be trying one. NYX Control Freak. To me, this is just the best plain colorless brow gel that you can buy for Hold. I've loved it for years. I remember doing an original review on it for the Express channel in the other house. She's been around a while. For eyes, we are going to use a new little palette, a new old palette. Okay, it's new to me. It's been around a while though. For some reason, I felt so attracted to this mini Biba palette. Now, I don't think we're being flooded with new eyeshadow palettes these days. Like on Sephora, I feel very caught up with the things I've wanted to try. But as I was looking around the other day and I was like, is there anything else I want to add to my cart? I went for this and I used it yesterday. I really liked it. And you know, I'm really drawn to the peachiness in it. A long time ago, like when I was in high school, I completely used up a little CoverGirl eyeshadow single in a peachy shade, and I would always put that peach up high. Like I was practically using it as a transition / highlight before I even had a clue what those words meant. And this has that, and I was noticing myself yesterday, I was getting ready for the game, and I was using that peachy color kind of like up high on the eye. And I thought, yeah, there is something to be said for that. It really brightens up the eye. But no, it's a pretty standard little palette. I like that Natasha Denona packages stuff in mini formats, so people who want to try her formula, which is, you know, very nicely pigmented, very high quality, people can try it without maybe committing to a whole huge palette. Persona double-ended brush. This has just been awesome, guys. Like, I hope you tuned in for the video that was the full face of Persona, because we talked all about the double-ended brushes, and this one has just really come out on top. And this Smudge and Define has been close behind. I have been using the heck out of these. So we're gonna go to that peachy color, and I'm just gonna start out getting that in my crease. This is matte, by the way. There's only one shimmer, well, 2 shimmers. One really highly shimmery one, and this one's kind of a satin finish. But yeah, the peach. Blend it through the crease and let it come up high. I'm just liking my applications with this brush because it's a little fuller. It pushes me to apply things up. just a bit more than I might normally. Really pretty. Let that peach just get all over the space. How do you feel? Do you like using a smaller palette or a larger palette? What's your take? What's your preference? Sometimes I really am in the mood for the smaller. Day to day, it feels very safe, but then if I am just wanting to play around and mess with different looks, you know, I will pick up, like I said the other day, I was just playing around. I picked up one of the largest palettes I have. Okay, see what we're doing with that peach? We're hazing it out. We don't really have a light, like bone-colored highlight or anything, so we're just hazing that out there. Everybody see? Okay, we've got a little bit deeper shade, this tan. I'm gonna go with the same brush, and I'm gonna make that a little more pinpointed to the actual crease. See how that got a little darker there? Kitten decided she was going to go over there to my zebra print bench. Yes, I still have a zebra print bench in this room. And I did switch up my background so y'all weren't overwhelmed by Valentine's Day too long. We've got a ceramic cactus. Where is it? Back there. The flameless candle and just the green. It's like a eucalyptus garland that I got. I had that up last year too. I just don't have any pom-poms over it right now. I may do that. So here we are, just adding to the crease slightly. Yeah, if I start talking about stuff, I could just bounce back and forth the entire day. Just boop, boop, boop. Now we're gonna go to the flat side of this brush, the flatter side, and go to the darkest shade. This made me think maybe it was gonna be a little bit burgundy, just at a glance with that color, but really it's not giving much burgundy. It's feeling more just dark brown, which is fine, but we're patting it. Maybe there's just a little bit of plum in it actually, but there's not like a bunch of warmth whatsoever. But we're patting that on the outer lid. We like to flip the brush so we can really hit the crease with it too. I might pull in a more precise brush in a second. Blends up into that peach really beautifully. Who else has this little palette and who loves it? Going in with Profusion Small Pointed to the same shadow, just to be a little more precise. It is such a dark shade, you know. Just seeing what I can do like that. Or going directly into the crease and just swirling it out a bit. Other brush pretty much did the job, but while I've got this brush in my hand, I'm going to go with the same shade and carry it under the eye. Pretty, just soft, you know, smoky. Okay, great. I feel like taking a little bit of the shimmer here and maybe just going a little bit above. What's that doing? Making it look even more toasty, kind of? This is with that large side of the brush. Yeah, I like that. Really light pressure. What's not to like about this little guy? Peach, more peach. Then what if we take just a little bit of the shimmery brown and we continue inward on the lid with that, and then just do a little pop on the center of the lid with the lightest shimmer. So we had the darker brown on the outer lid, taking the brown that has a little satin finish and a little more warmth right in here. I think what sold me on this one, like the look of it, it just looks pretty, but I looked at the model pictures as well and they just looked really awesome too. Okay, trying to make sure I'm blended there, but look how smoky, like that's pretty. But then let's just take a little of this. Ooh, hit that, tap over it, got that little spark right in the center. That's fun. I like that. I want to put a little on the inner corner too. Using the define side of the smudge and define. Is it working? Yeah, I'm seeing that. Biba Mini. Now I'm going to use an eyeliner that came in PR. It's from Lancome, and it's the Ultra Precise Waterproof Liner from the Idol line, like same as that mascara. Now it's in a square shape. I've talked about how Kosas did the square shape. It's very easy to hold in the hand, but this is brown. Matte syrup brown, it says. So I'm just going to use that with the look. Is it a brush tip or a felt tip? It's a felt tip. And I can definitely tell it's brown from your vantage point, like watching. I don't know, it might just be showing up dark, but it's certainly looking like a true brown here on my end. True dark brown. I'm not going to wing, I'm just going to stay with the shape of the eye. See? Nice. Really enjoy the shape and just the flexibility of the tip. It's going on very easily. Plus, square shape feels so secure in the hand. More things should be made squared off like that. And they sent the mascara too. I feel like I've used that in the past. I wasn't wowed, but we're gonna pull in the fresh one today, give it a fresh shot, okay? And we do have one new lip thing from Sephora Collection, which I'm excited to show you. I really like it, really like it. You know what sounds good? You know those little like, it's the ramen noodles, but in the rectangular shaped container, and it's like teriyaki beef or something. One of those sounds really good. Once in a blue moon, I'll want something like that. Okay, little short rubber bristles and a curved brush. I do like the shape of that curve. I remember I got turned off by this because I felt like every person I was running across on Instagram had been in cahoots with Lancome to promote this. It just left a sour taste in my mouth because I felt like nobody was talking about it just purely because they loved it. See, I can get soured on stuff real quick when I feel like it's been over sponsored, you know? All it does is make me question rather than think, oh, everyone's talking about it. No, you see things that say like Lancome partner, ad, whatever in their caption, you know. Okay, so we're putting it on and it's looking no more impressive than L'Oreal Lash Paradise at this point. Adding a little more. Maybe I should take a little break from this eye and then come back. I do appreciate the square shape though. Square shape is nice. You're on to something there. Also, I love Lancome's eye makeup remover. But that, to follow up, that CeraVe one, the comforting eye makeup remover, it's very milky. That works really well too. One of my favorite drugstore eye makeup removers that I've used. Okay, yeah. Now bopping back over here, I can see it building a little more. Things are getting a little bigger, a little thicker, okay? It just took me a while. Personally, this doesn't hold a candle to Superhero, but it is new. We cut it a little slack because not every new mascara is wonderful. You know, it has to be lived in a little bit, lived with. What in the world is going on Days of Our Lives right now? We got the 3 women who died are now like in heaven, sort of. And then they're showing in previews. Their bodies are in some sort of lab. Like, you know, if any show is going to be bringing people back to life, it's Days of Our Lives. So, I don't know, guys. I wasn't ready for any of them to leave the show. So I guess I'll support whatever means they need to do to, you know, bring them back. If that's even what's happening. I don't know. We smudged. We're getting messy. I'm gonna do Callie Ray, Come Hell or High Water. Hi, kitten. Long time no see. How doing, Angel? Maybe she was only interested in the Valentine's background and is just not caring for my new stuff. So I had to correct a little area in the outer corner there because I had gotten some mascara. I kind of rubbed it in with the Q-tip when I should have probably just waited and flaked it off with the spoolie, but there's that. I'm going to take a little bit of Airy, the new lighter powder, and just bop it right in here. It kind of just neutralizes a little bit too much shine that we might have from highlights and whatnot. It doesn't take away the glow, but it just makes it a little softer. This is the lip I have. It's from Sephora Collection, and it's called the Sheer Matte Lip Balm. I got the shade called Fuchsia. It's not like a real true fuchsia, you'll see, but looking like a standard no frills lip balm. But for it having this really pretty matte finish, it's so creamy and nice. But like it still manages to be matte. I love this color. It's not fuchsia. I mean, it's like a soft red. So creamy, so comfortable on the lips, but yet that pretty matte pillowy finish. I absolutely love it. I would absolutely, for certain, get more of these. And you can kind of use that edge around the edge of your own lips, but like I can get a fully finished looking lip with just this. Love that shade, love the way that's working with the eye and the cheek and everything. All in all, what do we think the winners were? Just in terms of the things like that I purchased, I think the Haus Labs foundation is great. I mean, it looks pretty on the skin. I think it wears well on me. We'll see how it does today. I feel like it's probably gonna wear even better today with the sponge blending method, just because that tends to eat up just a hair of the foundation, and in a lot of cases make things wear even better for me. But it was great yesterday too with the brush, so I like that a lot. But like I said, if you don't want to get it, there are still so many drugstore foundations just doing awesome right now. So it's not like this is the only good option out there, but I do like it. I really love the look of this Tower 28 Sculptino. Again, I have that in the shade Hammer, and I think that looks incredibly natural on the skin. The light ever so slightly bounces off of that just a little bit. Very excited to try the Airy shade of Kosas Cloud Set, although I didn't need it. I still feel like Breezy is plenty brightening, and the difference, like by the time it shears out on the skin, even though you can see a difference holding both pans side by side, the difference is identifiable on the face, but I wouldn't have had to have gotten this, okay? It's slight. Actually loving the Mini Biba palette, and I'm inspired to look at the mini palettes and other stuff that I already have to see if I could get a similar look out of something more drugstore, so maybe stay tuned for that. I bet I can find something. Sorry for the noise in the background. There's something in some bubble wrap, and she can't resist. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. I will see you again very soon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I love you so much. I'll see you later. Bye.